Hi guys, and welcome to what will be a very short video introducing you to an analytical technique, a technique that we use in chemistry to find out something about a chemical. Okay, it's called titrations. It's important when we're talking about acids and alkalis or acids and bases, but it's always going to be an alkali because it has to be solutions that are involved. But it's also useful in other parts of chemistry too. So we will revisit this technique right at the end of the course in Unit 3 in a section called Analytical Chemistry. But I want to introduce you to this technique as quickly as I can. I would normally do this in class by gathering you around, showing you the apparatus, demoing it for you, and then you actually have a go at doing it yourself. It's a really simple experiment and it's an easy one for you to get an idea of what you're doing. My plan was to send you all just a video from like the Royal Society of Chemistry or something showing you the technique and showing you how to do it, and I've struggled to find one that uses exactly the same language as what I want you guys to use, but also one that I can stay awake for the entire length of the video. So I probably will send you videos to have a look at, and I'll warn you in advance, they're horrendously boring. Not that this is going to be any more exciting, but hopefully will be a lot shorter. So what is a titration? I want you to imagine that you've got an acid and an alkali and you know everything you need to know about one of them. So you've made, if you remember, we talked about how to make a standard solution. So using those measured flasks, the standard flasks, we add the chemical in, we dissolve it, we top it up, we add the rinsings, we did all of that before. Well, imagine you've got a chemical where you know exactly the concentration of it, but the other chemical you don't. So maybe it's a sample of vinegar or it's an orange juice or something, and you want to know how acidic it is. Okay, well, this is the technique that we would use, and it uses two main pieces of apparatus, and you need to know them by name and you need to know what they're for. Okay, so the first piece of apparatus is called a burette. Okay, now a burette is basically a very tall, thin glass tube. You've maybe even seen them sitting at the side of your chemistry classroom, hanging up on the wall. A very thin piece of glass tubing with a tap attached to the end of it. Okay, it's a really accurate piece of glassware, and it's used to add a chemical where we want to measure exactly how much chemical we needed to add. The second piece of apparatus is a pipette. Okay, now a pipette, again, a very accurate piece of glassware, and to be honest with you, it's basically a really fancy dropper. It has one job. Now, a pipette comes in a certain size. You might pick up a 10 centimeter cube pipette, you might pick up a 20 centimeter cube pipette, or a 25 centimeter cube pipette. The job is to measure that volume, and it measures it really accurately. So once you pick what size you're using, you use it to fill it up, and that is an exact measurement. You can then put it into a beaker or into a flask for using in your experiment. Okay, so let's just rattle through this really quickly. It goes A, B, C, D across your screen to let you see the process of what we're doing. So let's just say the example is a vinegar. Okay, we don't know how much acid there is in the vinegar and we want to find out. So what we do is we start off by measuring the vinegar out using the pipette. Okay, so this is our pipette here. It's a long thin piece of glass with like a bulb in the middle of it. It uses one of these at the top, which is called a pipette filler. Now this does the same job as the squeezy bit at the top of the dropper. Okay, it sucks the air out of the pipette, and because this would be dipped into a flask of the vinegar, it'll pull the vinegar up, and the vinegar would get up to a point. Now there's a line, okay, on this pipette at the top, and if you get the liquid to sit exactly on that line, then the volume is exactly 10 or 20 or 25 centimeters cubed, whatever size the pipette is. Okay, don't worry, you will get to see this later on. You'll get to have a go at it yourself, but we're going to be doing some calculations, and it's important that you understand why we're doing it. So we've taken our vinegar and we've transferred it into this. It's called a conical flask. We've met these before. Okay, the only reason we use this shape of flask is because the whole time we're doing the experiment, we'll be swirling this around this liquid, and a conical flask is a nice easy shape to swirl around and to stop the mixture from spilling over the top like it would in a beaker. We add in an indicator, okay, so we would use something like, might be universal indicator, but that's not the best for this type of experiment. For the vinegar one, you would actually use a chemical called phenolphthalein, which we've met before. And phenolphthalein is colourless when you add it into an acid, and it turns this pink colour when there's an alkali present. Okay, so imagine you've got your vinegar in here, we've measured it, We know exactly what its volume is, so say 10 centimeters cubed, but we don't know what its concentration is. We've added an indicator into it and nothing changes because in an acid, phenolphthalein doesn't change colour. What we then do is we take our burette, which is this here, a big, tall, thin piece of glassware, and we fill it up with an alkali. We would pick the alkali. Let's just say we picked sodium hydroxide, and the sodium hydroxide that we picked, we would make sure we knew exactly what its concentration was, and we would use this piece of apparatus to work out exactly how much of it is needed to neutralise all the vinegar that's in the flask. So we would fill up the burette and we would write down the reading on the side. So each of these little lines here would have a number, okay? Now weirdly, 0 is at the top and 50 is at the bottom. So if this was here, this would be like 0.8 or something. There would be little lines as well. You would get closer, get it to eye level, you'd go right close to it, you'd measure it, just like you do with a measuring cylinder, but this is really, really accurate. So you'd write down what the volume was at the start. What you then do is open up this little tap here. The alkali would pour in to the flask and you would be swirling this the whole time. Underneath, we often put a piece of white paper or a white tile underneath it. That allows us to see the colour change more clearly. And what we would do is we would add the alkali in, with all the swirling until it changed colour. And at the point it changed colour, we stop the tap really quickly. Now the idea is, if we know what the volume was at the start, and we measure what the volume is at the end, what we can do is work out the amount of volume of the alkali that was used. Now if we know the concentration of this alkali, which we do, we now know the volume used of the alkali. We can use that to work out the concentration of the vinegar that was in here, because we know its volume, and we know the volume and concentration of the other chemical. So this is an example of a titration, okay? As I say, I'll send you a video where you can see it being done. I'll warn you in advance, it's a total snooze fest, but at least you'll be able to go through it and see kind of what I mean. But the basic idea is you will accurately know the concentration and volume of one chemical, and you will accurately know the volume of the other chemical, and you'll be able to work out the concentration of the other chemical, which is the idea behind the experiment in the first place. Okay, hope you find it useful. Give me a shout if you need a hand with anything, and obviously I'll send you a video for an experimental kind of run through from a science channel as well. Okay, have a great day.